Hey, this is Sam from Atlanta, also known as Sound Squire on the message boards, and I want to talk about visualizing audio and the various tools that we can use to do that. I'm using Mixcraft, Acoustica Mixcraft Pro Studio 6 for my digital audio workstation, or DAW as some people call it, and I want to go over three free tools. These are actually free. And I'll put the links to download them, at the bottom of the video and the notes. And it's the Oszilos Megascope, the Blue Cat Audio Frequency Analyst, and the Sonogram SG-1. These were covered, kind of by Loudon there in one of the lessons that we had this week. And I want to go into a little more detail about, how to actually use those. And what some of the uses are, and some of those things I'll talk about is the advantage that you have when working with MIDI. As you notice, this track here is all MIDI, and also want to talk about visualizing your waveform before you bounce. A lot of people will take a MIDI track and bounce it down to audio, and I do that sometimes just to see what the waveform looks like. This way you can kind of preview it. We'll also talk about finding problem frequencies, and also for uses for mixing, for balancing your sonics. So the first thing I want to go over is the Oszilos Megascope. And let me bring that up here real quick. I've got it on this cello track, the bass track here, and let's listen to what that sounds like. And what we have represented is a visual representation of the audio signal, and what we're seeing is we're seeing two axes here. Actually, we're seeing a lot of data, but the main thing that we're seeing is time and amplitude. Time, of course, being the x-axis here, and amplitude being the y. Now, this is a beat mapped, or a beat synced rather, oscilloscope, which I think is pretty cool because you can actually change the timing or the zoom and get more of a visualization of what the waveform is going to look like once it's bounced down. Okay, one of the other neat things about the Oszilos Megascope is you can actually put multiple instances of it on separate channels, and this gives you the advantage of being able to see more than one thing at once. So I'm going to add it to this percussion track here, and let's solo that out. And you'll see this the waveform at the top is the bass, the one at the bottom is the percussion. And what we're noticing is, since this is beat synced, these are the bars. So we've got 4 bars here. We've got it set to 4 bars. And this is just a great way to visualize, especially MIDI, before you bounce it down, to an audio track. All right, let's continue on. The next thing I want to talk about is a frequency analyzer, and I've actually got the Blue Cat Frequency Analyst. This is another free tool, and I'll include the download link for it, so you guys can get these tools as well if you don't already have them. But what this does is this gives us kind of a better view, in my opinion, of what's going on with the frequency spectrum, with the audio spectrum. Let's listen to this piano track. And what we're seeing here is we're seeing a stereo representation. We've got, let me actually turn the average off here, but we've got 2 different channels. We've got the left channel in blue, and then we've got the right channel in red. And what you'll notice is there's a lot of energy with the piano. There's a big spike right here, right around 470 hertz, 500 hertz, which to my ears is kind of making it sound muddy. So maybe this is something we can fix with an EQ, but the main thing here is we're getting a visual representation of this track. This gives us data, and the data that we get here with the frequency analyzer, as we get a couple things, we get amplitude, which is the y-axis here. As you see, it's marked in dBs going up the side, and then we get frequency on the x-axis. So these frequencies down here at the bottom are bass, and then going up through mid-range up into the much higher frequencies, the air frequencies. One of the other nice things about the Blue Cat's frequency analyst is it's resizable. So if I want to make this smaller, I just click on these buttons here, and this gives me kind of a small, medium, large. Of course, I could make it, large to fill up the whole screen like it was, but let's make it smaller for now. Great feature. And I want to go over here to a parametric equalizer, which also has an analyzer on it for spectrum. And we'll do the same thing. We'll listen again and kind of compare the frequencies maybe that we need to pull out. And it looks like 500 here might be something that we want to pull out to brighten up the track a little bit. And I always try to reduce or cut instead of boost, but that definitely makes a difference on the sound of this particular track. Alright, so that covers the spectrum analyzer. Let's talk a little bit about the sonogram. And I actually picked up this free one here called Sonogram SG-1, and I've got it on the master track just because I think it works well there. And this one unfortunately is not resizable. It does take up a big amount of screen space here, but if we listen and watch, this is kind of the whole track at once. And what we're seeing here, let me pause this for a second. What we're seeing here is we're seeing 3 bits of data. We're seeing time, frequency, and amplitude. Time is represented on the x-axis here, so as this goes by, it's representing time. Where this bar right here is kind of the real time or 0 point, so you'll see when the cymbals and the timpani drums or whatever hit, you'll see that big peak there. And of course this is amplitude, or rather I'm sorry, frequency, going on the y-axis, and then the amplitude is represented by the intensity of the color, and you can use the scale over here to kind of see where the intensities are. And different color schemes here depending upon, I guess, what kind of mood you're in. I happen to like this one a lot. It works really well. So let's listen again. Let me rewind this back to the beginning. And you can see where these cymbals are hitting, this higher frequency stuff is hitting here. Is represented quite well, so you get an overall view of a very good visualization of the overall sonics. Now this particular plug-in, this VST, does have this kind of waveform view at the bottom, so I guess it combines kind of the function of an oscilloscope with the sonogram. And there was a big hit. Here's like, you can see where the timpani drums were hitting through here, and then all of this this wonderful sound fills up this space very nicely, and you have these kind of areas of silence, or not really silence, but transitional areas, I guess is what you would call it, in between these big peaks. So sonogram is kind of new to me, and that's something I wanted to talk about, and I appreciate Loudon sharing the sonogram use and what it does. To me, it's a neat thing. I haven't really used one before, so I'm definitely going to continue to use one after this, and just wanted to say thank you for watching, and I hope you gained some insight on visualizing audio.